Hi guys, today I would like to discuss knitting guilds in the historic role. Let's start with the origins of knitting. The exact origins of knitting are uncertain and debated among historians, as evidence of early knitting is scarce due to the perishable nature of early knitted fabrics. However, knitting is believed to have emerged in the Middle East, possibly around the same time as other textile crafts, such as weaving and spinning, which dates back to ancient times. Some of the earliest known examples of knitting come from Egypt, where fragments of socks dating back to the 3rd or 4th century CE have been discovered. These early knitted items were made using simple techniques and basic tools, likely for practical purposes such as warmth and protection. Knitting also has historical roots in other regions. For example, there is evidence of early knitting in the Mediterranean region, as well as parts of Asia, such as China and the Arabian Peninsula. Knitting gained popularity in Europe during the Middle Ages, particularly in the 14th and 15th centuries, where it was practiced by both men and women and regulated by guilds. Over time, knitting evolved into a widespread domestic craft with distinct regional styles and techniques developing around the world. Today, knitting remains a popular hobby and art form practiced by millions of people worldwide, with a rich history and cultural significance spanning centuries. When did knitting guilds form? The formation of knitting guilds likely occurred during the Middle Ages, particularly in Europe, where guild systems were prevalent. While specific records of the earliest knitting guilds may be scarce, guilds dedicated to various textile crafts, including knitting, emerge as organized groups of skilled artisans seeking to regulate and promote their trades. The exact timing of the formation of knitting guilds can vary depending on the region and local historical context. However, knitting guilds likely arose alongside the growth of the textile industry and the increasing specialization of craftsmen during the medieval period. Knitting guilds have played a significant role in the history and development of knitting, particularly during the Middle Ages and Renaissance periods in Europe. These guilds and organizations formed by skilled artisans to regulate and promote their craft, ensuring quality standards, protecting trade secrets, and providing support and education to its members. Why were knitting guilds important? Regulation of quality. Knitting guilds establish standards for the quality of knitted goods, ensuring that items produced by guild members met certain criteria for craftsmanship and durability. This helped to maintain the reputation of knitted products and to protect the interests of both producers and consumers. Determining whether a knitted item was approved by a knitting guild in a historical context can be challenging, as specific records or markings indicating guild approval may not always be available. However, there are few indicators that can suggest whether an item may have met the standard set by a knitting guild, such as guild-approved knitted items which likely exhibit a high level of craftsmanship, with even stitches, precise shaping, and attention to detail. Look for signs of skill and expertise in the construction of the item. Traditional patterns and techniques. Guilds often promoted and preserved traditional knitting patterns and techniques. Items approved by guilds may feature recognizable patterns or motifs that are characteristic of a particular region or time period. Guilds may have had standards for the types of materials they used in knitted items, such as a specific type of yarn or fiber. Items made with high quality materials that were known to meet guild standards may suggest approval. Markings or labels. Some guild-approved items may have included markings or labels indicating their approval or certification by the guild. However, such markings may not always be present or easily identifiable, especially on historical items. Documentation or records. In some cases, there may be documentation or records associated with a particular knitting guild that provide information about the approved items or the guild members. These records could include inventory, membership lists, or guild regulations. While these indicators can provide clues about whether a knitted item may have been approved by a knitting guild, it's important to remember that not all guild-approved items may exhibit these characteristics and vice versa. Additionally, the absence of guild markings or documentation does not necessarily mean an item was not approved by a guild. Guilds provided training and apprenticeship opportunities for aspiring knitters, allowing them to learn the skills and techniques of the craft under the guidance of experienced masters. This helped to ensure the progression of knitting knowledge and traditions from one generation to the next. Here's how training and apprenticeship typically worked in a knitting guild. Selection of apprentices. Individuals interested in learning the craft of knitting would often approach a guild seeking apprenticeship opportunities. Guilds had criteria for selecting apprentices, which could include factors such as aptitude, willingness to learn, and personal character. Contractual agreement. Once selected, the apprentice would enter into a formal contractual agreement with the guild and the master knitter. This agreement outlined the terms and conditions of apprenticeship, including the duration of the apprenticeship, the duties and responsibilities of both parties, and any compensation or benefits provided to the apprentice. Duration of apprenticeship. Apprenticeships typically lasted for a set period, which could range from several years to a decade or more, depending on the complexity of the craft and skill level of the apprentice. During this time, the apprentice would receive comprehensive training in all aspects of knitting, including techniques, patterns, and materials. Hands-on learning. Apprentices were primarily hands-on learning experiences, with the apprentice working closely alongside a master knitter in a workshop or studio environment. The master would demonstrate various knitting techniques and provide guidance and feedback as the apprentice practiced and honed their skills. Progression of skills. Apprenticeships were structured to allow apprentices to progress gradually from basic to advanced skills over time. As the apprentice demonstrated proficiency in specific techniques and tasks, they would be given increasingly complex projects and responsibilities. Theory and education. In addition to practical instruction, apprentices also included theoretical education in topics such as knitting history, terminology, and design principles. Apprentices were encouraged to develop a deep understanding of the craft, its traditions, and its cultural significance. Completion and certification. Upon completing their apprenticeship, apprentices would undergo a final assessment or examination to evaluate their skills and knowledge. If deemed competent, they would receive a certification from the guild, acknowledging their status as a journeyman knitter, and allowing them to practice independently or seek further advancement within the guild. Overall, apprenticeships in a knitting guild provided aspiring knitters with a comprehensive and structured pathway to mastering the craft, ensuring the progression of knitting traditions. Social and economic support. Guilds provided a sense of community and solidarity among members, offering social gatherings, mutual assistance, and financial support in times of need. They also played a role in advocating for the rights and interests of their members within the broader society. Knitting guilds provided several societal benefits both in historical context and contemporary society. Preservation of cultural heritage. Knitting guilds played a crucial role in preserving and transmitting knitting traditions, techniques, and patterns from one generation to the next. By safeguarding these cultural practices, guilds helped to maintain the cultural identity and heritage of communities over time. Economic stability. Knitting guilds contributed to economic stability of communities by supporting the livelihoods of artisans and craftsmen, by regulating trade practices, setting prices, and protecting members' interests. Guilds helped to ensure fair compensation for their members' work and promoted economic prosperity within their communities. Skill development and education. Guilds provided opportunities for skill development and education, allowing aspiring knitters to learn the craft under the guidance of experienced masters. Through structured apprenticeships and training programs, guilds helped individuals acquire the skills and knowledge needed to pursue careers in knitting and related fields. Community building. Knitting guilds fostered a sense of community and camaraderie among members, providing opportunities for social interaction, mutual support, and collaboration. By bringing together individuals with a shared interest in knitting, guilds help create bonds of friendship and solidarity that strengthen communities. Promotion of social welfare. Guilds often provided social welfare benefits to their members, including financial assistance, healthcare, and support for members in times of need. By caring for the well-being of their members, guilds help promote social cohesion and solidarity within their communities. Advocacy and representation. Knitting guilds represented the interests of their members within the broader society, advocating for their rights, privileges, and protections. By negotiating with local authorities and other guilds help to ensure fair treatment and favorable conditions for their members, contributing to a social justice and equality. Civic engagement. Guilds encourage civic engagement and participation among their members, providing opportunities for members to contribute to the welfare of their communities through charitable activities, public service projects, and community outreach efforts. Overall, knitting guilds played a vital role in promoting the well-being and prosperity of communities by preserving cultural heritage, supporting economic stability, fostering skill development and education, building community, providing social welfare, advocating for members' rights, and encouraging civic engagement. Knitting guilds were also responsible for the regulation of trade. Knitting guilds often had authority over the production, distribution, and sale of knitted goods within their jurisdiction. They enforced rules and regulations regarding pricing, market access, and competition, helping to maintain stability and fairness in the industry. Knitting guilds regulated trade through various means, aiming to maintain quality standards, protect the interests of their members, and ensure fair competition in the marketplace. Here are some common ways knitting guilds regulated trade. Setting standards. Guilds established standards for quality of knitted goods, specifying criteria such as materials, craftsmanship, and design. They ensured that items produced by guild members met certain criteria of excellence, enhancing their reputation in the marketplace. Quality control. Guilds inspected and assessed the quality of knitted goods produced by their members, ensuring they met established standards. Items that met the guild's quality criteria were stamped or marked as a sign of approval, indicating their adherence to guild regulations. Guilds set prices for knitted goods, establishing guidelines for pricing based on factors such as materials, labor, and market demand. This helped prevent undercutting and price manipulation, ensuring fair compensation for guild members. Market access. Guilds controlled access to markets and trade routes, regulating the sale and distribution of knitted goods within their jurisdiction. They may have imposed restrictions on non-guild members or outsiders, limiting their ability to compete with guild members in the marketplace. Guilds required knitters to obtain licenses or certifications to practice their craft professionally. This ensured that individuals had undergone proper training and met the guild standards of competency before engaging in trade. Guild-approved knitters were authorized to use the guild seal or mark on their products as a sign of quality assurance. Guilds enforced trade regulations through monitoring, inspection, and disciplinary measures. Members who violated guild rules or engaged in unethical practices could face fines, sanctions, or expulsion from the guild, thereby maintaining order and integrity in the trade. Guilds represented the interests of their members in legal matters related to trade, such as disputes over contracts, intellectual property rights, and infringement of guild regulations. They advocated for fair treatment and protection of members' rights within the legal system, ensuring guild members had recourse in cases of grievances. Overall, knitting guilds played a crucial role in regulating trade, ensuring quality control, protecting the interests of their members, and maintaining order and fairness in the marketplace. Their efforts helped to promote economic stability, force trust and confidence among consumers, and contributed to the growth and prosperity of the knitting industry. Knitting guilds also promoted innovation. While knitting guilds aim to preserve traditional techniques and patterns, they also encouraged innovation and creativity within the craft. Members were encouraged to experiment with new designs, materials, and technologies, leading to the development of new knitting styles and practices over time. Knitting guilds promoted innovation in several ways. Guilds encourage members to experiment with new techniques and materials and designs through research and development. Members share their findings and discoveries with each other, fostering a culture of innovation and creativity within the guild. Guilds provided opportunities for training and education, allowing members to learn from experienced masters and exchange ideas with fellow knitters. Workshops, seminars, and classes were organized to explore new knitting techniques and approaches, inspiring members to innovate in their craft. Collaboration and exchange. Guilds facilitated collaboration and exchange among members, creating opportunities for knitters to work together on projects, share resources, and exchange ideas. By pooling their expertise and resources, members were able to collectively innovate and push the boundaries of the craft. Guilds organize competitions and exhibitions to showcase the work of their members and recognize outstanding achievements in knitting. Competitions encourage members to strive for excellence and push their limits of creativity, leading to innovation in design, technique, and execution. Guilds embrace new technologies and advancements in knitting machinery and equipment, encouraging members to adopt and adapt new tools and techniques in their work. Guilds played a role in promoting design trends and aesthetic movements within the knitting community, inspiring members to explore new styles, motifs, and color palettes. By highlighting emerging trends and encouraging experimentation, guilds contributed to the evolution of knitting as an art form. Overall, knitting guilds provided a supportive, dynamic environment for innovation, fostering creativity, collaboration, and entrepreneurship within the knitting community. Through their efforts, guilds contributed to the ongoing evolution and advancement of the craft, ensuring its continued relevance and vitality in the modern world. With the decline of the guild system in the late Middle Ages and the rise of industrialization, knitting guilds gradually lost their influence and relevance. However, their legacy lives on in the rich traditions, techniques, and cultural heritage of knitting that continues to be celebrated and practiced today. While traditional knitting guilds may no longer exist in the same form as they did in the past, the spirit of community, education, and support that they embodied continues to be reflected in contemporary knitting communities, clubs, and organizations around the world today. Thank you for watching my channel. If you liked this video, please remember to like and subscribe